I was just preparing some greens, putting steel picks on them with my steel pick machine to make a swag for my front door. So welcome. Hang around with me and I'll show you what I'm gonna do, okay? Let's go over here. Since you're here, a little paper's messing up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a holder on this, and if you just use a piece of wire through styrofoam, it'll just cut right through it. So you want me to show you that, I will. But if you put something in there, look what happens. You know, I've never done this and it hasn't worked. Watch, I demo it and it doesn't work. But see, if you don't put something underneath here, that'll cut right through. And we don't want that to happen. So let's push this back out here. And I just took a pipe cleaner and cut it into a little, like half a pipe cleaner, and made it kind of like a W or an M. And I'm just gonna do that, and that won't pull through. You can use a button too if you want. And then I'm gonna use the other half of the pipe cleaner on the back side and do the same thing. And then I'm gonna make a hook so I can hang this on my door. I'm gonna use a command hook. I think if this gets to be really heavy, maybe I'll use an over-the-door wreath holder. Although, you know, you can always use two command hooks, like one up high and one part way down. So let me cut these so they're a little shorter. Oh, and I have a tip while we have the back of this here. If you're worried about a wreath or a swag scraping your door, just glue a piece of felt to the back of it. That's a handy thing to do. Okay, so I have my little ring there. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start adding some greenery. This is kind of a big piece. Everything else out in front of my house this year for Christmas is very simple. Small green wreaths with red bows. So I want my door to really stand out, so I'm gonna make a really long swag for my door, okay? Alrighty. I've already put the steel picks on some of these pieces, and I'm gonna just take it. If you do not have a steel pick machine, you can use wood wired sticks, okay? And I am all out of them, or I would show you how to do those. And what I'm doing this year, right now, I'm using up Christmas greens that I have, and I'm just so tired of having all of these mismatched greens. I'm like, I've got to get rid of them. So I'm just gonna stick these all in. And I think I have some really long ones over here. Let's see. Like I said, I just went through all my stuff. Oh, look at this one. It's got little, looks like snow or ice on it. And I'm just going to pick this whole thing. I'm not gonna cut it. And push down really hard. And see how that puts a steel pick on there? And it has these little barbs so that it will stay in the styrofoam. I'm gonna stick that in the back. I should have done that one first. All my supplies around here. So this is really getting some length to it. You can see, and I'm gonna take it up high this way too. Like I said, I want it to really stand out. Now, instead of worrying about all of this edge, I have, where did I put it? A piece of really inexpensive garland. Oh, here it is. Right here. This came from the dollar store. It was $1, okay? And then I have some S-pins or floral pins. You can buy them in a bag like this, like at Hobby Lobby or Joann's or Michael's. Let's see, they call them floral pins. And I call them S-pins. That's what I learned to call them, and it's because that kind of makes an S at the end. Okay? So instead of worrying about putting a lot of greens, because I don't want this to be a lot wider, I'm just gonna take this cheap garland and I'm gonna pin it right around the edge. I'll do it on this side, and then I'll cut a little bit and put it on that side so you can see how I'm doing it. See, I'm just gonna pin that right in there. And that will hide the styrofoam from the sides. So when you walk up to my door, you won't see hopefully. And if I need to go back and do 2 layers of it, I will. But I can determine that later after I'm getting to work on my swag. And this swag is gonna be pretty basic, even though it's really big. It's just gonna be greenery and red ornaments and red ribbon to coordinate with what I had done the rest of my house. I'm really lucky. I live in Celebration, Florida. That's the Disney developed community, and a lot of people really decorate. In fact, downtown every night we have snow. It already started snowing, which is really unusual for Florida, don't you think? So I'm just going to continue to pin this along the sides, and that will cover that up. Okay. I'm just going to cut this piece off. So don't overlook the dollar store. Some of the ornaments I think I'm going to be using are also from the dollar store. So this is going to hang like this. Really tall, but we're going to work on it this direction. Okay, so I need to cut some more greens. And I just took a variety. Like I said, these are all things I've had on hand, and I'm trying to use them up and get them out of the house. They're going to be on my front door, but take some picks like this, take the price tags off like I did, and then you're just going to cut them into smaller, more manageable pieces like so. Okay, I'm going to keep adding my greenery kind of around the edges, but not really, you know, I filled that edge in. And look at these great ornaments. I bought them like 2 years ago, I think. I don't even remember, but they've been sitting in the box way too long. So one has a ribbon on it, the other does not. But I think I'm going to use a green pipe cleaner because it won't show. And I want to hang this down pretty low. So I'm going to twist this around, and then I'm going to cut it and put one of those, it's time to get sharper wire cutters. And then I'm going to fold this over so there's some thickness to it. And I'm going to put a steel pick on the pipe cleaner. And this will keep this from pulling out. And then I'm going to stick that right down in there. There we go. And since this already has this, well, no, I'm not going to use this ribbon, and I don't think I have another green pipe cleaner here. So, like I said, I was just working on this swag here. So let me cut this ribbon. Well, I'll try it. I'm going to try this ribbon on the steel pick machine. Let's push that down in there. Yeah, it seems to hold it securely. And I'm going to hang this one way down here at the bottom like this, okay? There we go. So I think that those will hang beautifully. And then I think that I will fill in with some pretty red silk poinsettias. So same thing, I'm going to cut these off and put steel picks on them, and then I will fill in around them with my greenery. Okay? Okay, I have these poinsettias, and I'm going to add these. Oh, look at those with the glitter on them. They are beautiful. I'm going to add this cluster of them up here. Let's see. Maybe down here underneath. And one more right there. Oh, isn't that lovely? I also added steel picks to some of the poinsettia leaves. So in addition to the evergreens, I'm going to add those in. I mean, the poinsettias look beautiful, but when you add the leaves, it really makes them stand out. So There we go. Now, time to add more greenery. And I've got to build this up around my poinsettias, around my little cluster of flowers here. And obviously I need to cover the top of my ornaments that I have hanging there. And I'm just going to keep building this up and filling in, because we want to eventually make sure that all of the styrofoam is hidden, which is a good reason to use green styrofoam when you're working at Christmas time, because if it isn't all hidden, it won't show up as much. Same thing with that felt. If you put the felt on the back, use some green felt. Let's add one more piece down here. Those are kind of nestled in between. I'm just going to fill this in. I don't know, we might need an ornament right there. I didn't think we would need any more ornaments, but I think maybe we do. Okay. Doesn't have a clip on it. It's not going to go in there. Okay. Now let's try an ornament and see what I think. Maybe. This one's still attached to something else. But these are the ornaments I said were dollar store ornaments. Okay. Yep, I think that that's what I need to do. I'm going to do the same thing on these that I did on the other ones and feed a pipe cleaner through here and fold it over so I have some thickness to it, and then put the steel pick on it, okay? Just like that. And I'm going to nestle this right down in there. There we go. And same thing with these two guys. Put that through there, bend it over, and a steel pick on it. So even though I've ended up adding some ornaments, this is still relatively simple, not fussy. At least as far as I'm concerned, is what I do. There, we're gonna put this one right down here. And I might add some more greens. I need to pick this up and look at it. But this, move it out from under the chandelier, is how this is gonna look on my front door. And I'll go put it on the front door and let you have a look at it as soon as I double check that I don't have, yeah, see right here, I need a little bit of greenery, okay? I'm gonna fill it in and then meet you out on my front porch. Just this one so it hangs down. Oh wow, isn't that gorgeous? I'm so happy with how it turned out.